There we go.
Hi, I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell. Tired of that same old cooking show? Well, we've got something completely different for you. It's called New Day, New Chef. This is a cooking show unlike any you have ever seen before. Fabulous, fun recipes.
It makes me happy.
Recipes that are super healthy, too. Stop. See you there.
Welcome to our global watch party and our fun after party. You're invited, and if you're here, you're in the party. And we've got some of the stars of New Day, New Chef. We've got the amazing Chef Babette, who kept getting picked for the main photo. Every time I would look about anything with New Day, New Chef, there was Chef Babette. And that's probably because she always looks ready to go on the red carpet at any moment. It doesn't matter. It could be 4 a.m. She's ready to go on the red carpet. Then we've got the amazing Simone Reyes, country music star, of course, vegan country music star. She is absolutely extraordinary and recorded Go Vegan Go, which was an incredible production of Jane Unchained, along with New Day, New Chef co-hosting. We've got Korin Sutton, who is an amazing bodybuilder, ripped. Look at this people vegan muscle. Come on, man. Talk to me about where do you get your protein. Now, Ryan Nelson, the first time I met him was I was in a panel and he walked in and I was terrified. I was like, this guy is ginormous. He's got muscles on his muscles on his muscles. He's so gentle and kind and loving that I just fell in love with him. And they do these two gentlemen do an incredible push-ups with shaking hands in the middle of it. It was out of control while our taste testers are chowing down on the food. And then we've got the one and only Jane Elizabeth, who really just adds so much to everything she does. She's an amazing activist, really, really bringing, I would say, grace, charm, and ladylike behavior to this movement, which is sorely needed. I mean, if I had a nickel for everyone who told me, just lower your voice, ma'am, the patrons at the other table are complaining, I would be a billionaire right now. So these are just some of the folks, the amazing vegans involved in New Day, New Chef, which I was absolutely honored to produce as part of our nonprofit news network, the Jane Unchained News Network, in coordination and collaboration with the amazing Eamon McChrystal of Inspired Entertainment. He's a multi-Emmy winning producer. And this is really one of the, I hate to say because then, somebody in another part of the world will go, hey, we did this, blah, blah, blah. But I have not seen it. A sound stage cooking show with this kind of staff. I want to give a shout out to all the volunteers at Jane Unchained. Literally well over almost 200 people volunteered to make this happen. So let me start by asking the one and only Chef Babette, what did you make and how did it feel to be on New Day, New Chef?
Oh, it was so awesome. And I made my little holiday pizza, and it was my vegan pizza. And you let me be as messy as I wanted to be. It was so fun.
Yeah, and you of course run a great restaurant here in Inglewood, California, Stuff I Eat.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first time I met you, you jumped down on the ground and you did a 5-minute plank. And I passed out just watching you. I was like, I'm fainting. I can't even imagine. And you don't hide your age. This is the miracle of a vegan diet. Will you reveal your age right here? Drum roll, please.
Well, you know what? When you're vegan and you look like we look, you can't wait to tell people your age. I'm 70. Woo, woo.
Woo! And scooch up just a little closer so we can hear your beautiful tones.
Okay.
Simone Reyes, yes. You are, and then just right in the center. Thank you. Yeah, and you can handle the close up. You can handle that close up. Look at that close up, people. 70 going on 30.
Yeah, 70. It's a good thing.
And
I'm
you
really happy.
attribute your vegan diet to that?
Yeah, my lifestyle, definitely. I love myself. I take care of myself, and I prefer to eat life rather than death. So it works.
And the funny part on the show, I remember when I interviewed Chef Babette, because I go over to Stuff I Eat quite often, usually end up going live because I get overexcited about all the exciting food. And there's always like a cast of fabulous characters there. And I remember Chef Babette turned to me and said, if you don't eat a chicken, the chicken walks away. If you don't eat a carrot, the carrot rots. So when we're doing the show, I said, and Chef Babette, you told me if you don't eat a chicken, the chicken walks away. If you don't eat a carrot, the carrot rots. And you turn to me and you go, I never said that.
I don't, you guys. I don't remember saying that. Jane keeps saying I said that, but that ain't like something that just.
I testify in a court of law because it really impacted me. I thought that's brilliant. Okay, let me go to Ryan Nelson. And, you know, I want to be politically correct. But again, the two gentlemen here are not only fabulous vegans, but they do have muscles on their muscles. And I'm just saying, people are always saying, Ryan, where do you get your protein? And you and Korin are living embodiments. Living embodiments.
That's crazy.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, being on the show was just a real honor, and it was cool that we were able to prepare a dish that we both feel like is something that really does break a lot of stereotypes in the sense of it is a high protein vegan meal, and it's one that both Korin and myself really enjoy. So it was really fun and to be on the show with all the amazing other guests. And we did get to eat and try some of the other food that day. So that was really awesome too.
And Korin, I knew the food was good because when we would take a break, the crew, which wasn't all vegan, I think there may have been one vegan on the crew, they swarmed in to get that food. And if they didn't like it, they wouldn't be doing that. So Korin, what was your experience like being on New Day, New Chef?
It was amazing. I had a good time because I really enjoy sharing this knowledge when it comes to food. I feel that this is one of the things that a lot of people are worried about when they go more towards a plant-based diet or trying to move more towards a vegan lifestyle is always the food. So even after the show, it inspired me to, make my own cookbook. And I just continued to cook more meals because I saw that a lot of people were asking for more macro-friendly meals, things that's super healthy, things that they can use to actually increase their health and get a lot of nutrients out of their diet. So that's when I went ahead and created my own cookbook. It's called Macro Mastery, and you can get it on my website, bodyhdfitness.com. And through that, like now, a lot of people are able to enjoy not just the tofu scramble, but other meals that I also made as well.
So you were inspired by being on the show to create a cookbook. That is so fantastic. Tell us what you made, because you guys came on and you whipped up something that was very macho. Is that okay to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was the tofu scramble. And the reason we picked this is because tofu is demonized, like when it comes to soy byproducts. So we decided to make something and show people that this isn't a food that shouldn't be demonized. It's something that's been debunked. There's too many studies out there that proves the opposite. But everyone wants to look at Instagram and Google a bunch of nonsense. So that's why we made the meal. And if you see two big giant bodybuilders up there saying it's not, then I don't think a study really matters. It's look, the proof's in the pudding. You have two males who's professional bodybuilders that's just slamming tofu, and these meals are about 70 grams of protein. So we're debunking everything when it comes to the effects of phytoestrogen and making men look weak and making them look feminine and stuff like that. We're debunking where people think that you can't get a lot of protein on a vegan diet. I mean, what meal can you get 70 grams of protein in one serving? That's a lot for a plant-based diet or plant-based meal. That's more than before when I used to eat meat,
Right. And 75% at least of all soy is fed to farm animals. So
Yeah.
soy is being consumed one way or another. I'm very happy to announce that Jana James, New Day New Chef, is a finalist in the Taste Awards, which are basically the Oscars of the food and fashion industry. And not in one category, in 8 different categories. Best reality series, best green or organic program series or film, and also best new series, best health and fitness program, film or documentary, best filmed at home episode, although, well, we had some home when we went to New Support and Feed, where we followed Maggie Baird, Billie Eilish's mom, and Phineas's mom, as they distribute vegan food cooked in vegan restaurants to people who are hungry during the pandemic, and best series pilot. So that's eight nominations, and that goes to all of you. Simone Reyes, what was it like to be on the show? Because I know you brought your good friend. Somebody's crackling, so whoever it is, mute. I know you brought your good friend Otep. Tell us what that was like. And unmute first. Unmute. Thank you, dear.
Didn't know I was muted.
There you go.
It was so much fun. I mean, first of all, obviously just hanging out with your vegan friends is always going to be so much fun. But I just love the fact that, there's so many people that I know who they hear the word vegan cooking and they're just like, oh my God, it's so confusing. These recipes were so easy. I mean, like literally you turn on the show and you can whip it up. All you have to do is get the ingredients, and a lot of them are already in your fridge or whatever. But it's like, that's what I loved about this show. It was like veganism made simple. Start off with these items that are like already probably in your kitchen and things that can be done in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's why it was so fun. But having Otep there, I mean, she's a force. She's so much fun. And she has a very, very strong fan base that are very open to veganism, but they don't really know how to do it, And so that's why it was so great to bring her along.
And Jane Elizabeth, I believe, did you make the vegan chicken wings, the cauliflower chicken wings? Because that, chickens are the most consumed animal by far. And chicken wings are one of the most consumed items. So if we could just get people on vegan chicken wings, that would solve a huge part of the problem. What was it like for you to be on?
It was incredible, Jane, to be on the show. And the chicken walked away from my dish. That's what happened. So I made crispy buffalo cauliflower bites. These are vegan. They're delicious. They're gluten-free. I've had food allergies pretty much my whole life. So being vegan, I want to show people that, you can actually eat delicious vegan, whole plant-based foods, and it can taste delicious. So a lot of people really, their holdup is flavor. And I wanted to show people that you don't have to worry about that. You can have all the flavor, what you're seasoning, what you're using to season, the meat that you're eating, you're using plants anyway. So you may as well use plants to season your plants, right? And then the chicken can always walk away. The cow can always walk away. You don't have to harm any living beings in order to get all the great nutrition you need and in order to live a healthy, sustainable life. So, that was really my goal there, and to create something that was delicious and super healthy. So that's, it was great to be on this show because I got to meet a ton of really great people, and just being able to be a part of something so fantastic where we can show people how easy it is to go vegan. Because these recipes, they weren't those really difficult recipes. Sometimes people put things out there and they've got a 2-page blog about why they chose to do this recipe, and then you have to climb to some mountaintop in order to get an ingredient that's only available maybe one time every 5 years, and you get overwhelmed before you even start. These recipes are so easy. Anybody can make these recipes. So it made veganism achievable and, something that anybody can do. So no matter what you think or what your taste buds want, you can do it without causing harm to any other sentient beings.
And we had a wide array of people. We had musicians, we had lawyers, and one of them is here, Carissa Krantz, who has the distinction of being vegan from birth. Vegan from birth. Former prosecutor, attorney, founder of B-Veg. And this was one of my, and we've got a bunch of pictures of the show. You can put them up willy-nilly because we don't have to match every shot with every person, because really we had hundreds of people involved. But one of my favorite funny moments, an inside story of the show, was that you're vegan from birth, Carissa. So she's not used to tasting anything that's animal products at all. So we were making deviled eggs, vegan deviled eggs. Erin Riley Carrasco makes vegan deviled eggs, and we told you to taste it, and you were like, because they're so much like eggs. It's like eating eggs. You kind of freaked out. It was almost like, no, you can't, because there's no difference. Carissa, unmute yourself, darling. There you go.
Yes, and you caught the moment live too, where I wasn't really prepared for the aha moment because my mom's made me vegan tofu egg salad my whole life, but she didn't add that black sulfur to it that made it taste eggy, or the way that eggs smell to me. And it was quite funny to be on the set and to have all the taste testers there love it and were blown away by the flavor. And I was a little bit blown away and taken aback by it because I wasn't sure it was a flavor I really was prepared to taste. But I think that it was exciting to be part of the show and all these amazing people who have figured out how to come up with these dishes that really show that there's no sacrifice in flavor if you want to have these options, and that you can make it in 10 minutes, or it can be great for a party. And they're really, it was good, but you caught that moment live where I was unprepared for something to taste different than the way my mom made vegan egg tofu salad, which did not have that eggy flavor. But yeah, so the show I've never been a chef. My mom was always the chef. So it was also fun to be a part of. I was more in the host aspect with you, Jane, on the show than the chef aspect, because I'm not one that I'm normally comfortable in the kitchen. And I think that I learned a lot being there, because it really wasn't so hard to be in the kitchen and to conjure up these dishes in a short period of time. And I got to taste a whole lot of delicious food backstage. And it really is a new day, and we all need to become new chefs in this new day.
Exactly. And what was incredible was there was such a great fun happening in the green room, because so we're talking about New Day, New Chef, which is available on Amazon Prime, and it's free for Prime members. By the way, it's also on public television stations around the country. And we didn't know how many public television stations around the United States would pick it up. 84% of the country's public television stations have picked it up. There is a list of showings that is 90 plus pages. So if you guys feel like sometimes you're not making a difference, I'm telling you, this is all over the place. I got a call from somebody in Iowa who saw it. I got a call from somebody in Santa Fe who saw it. And it's actually hitting middle America and towns that wouldn't necessarily get this kind of content. So important, especially now during the pandemic, when the Veg Fest and others are not going, even though they will be back. I'm on the board of Veg Fest LA, and we will be back. But you can watch New Day, New Chef. And don't forget New Day, New Chef Support and Feed Edition, which features Maggie Baird. Billie Eilish does a cameo, as well as her brother Phineas. That is where it's a great program where money is collected, given to vegan restaurants. They make food and then they deliver to people who are literally hungry and struggling during this pandemic. We need to feed good food to people who are struggling. So it was a breakthrough, because let me just say this, and Simone, you're in the business, so you know about this. More than 20 years ago, I pitched the Food Network on a vegan cooking show. A lot of people have tried to get vegan cooking shows out there. And so, it really is hard. It's like getting a touchdown during the Super Bowl to get a vegan content on any kind of platform. Take it away.
It's true.
Unmute. You're all muted until you unmute yourself. It's a new system here we're doing. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I mean, and on mainstream media, we still see that, right? Because so many of the advertising agencies are still, animal users. However, ever since the incredible boom of social media, we've gotten the vegan message out. The younger generations are now, veganism is a word that is very mainstream, right? And at this point, the larger, media conglomerates, they're playing catch up. I mean, we just apparently had the first, commercial on the Super Bowl, right, for a plant-based item. So at this point, we're making strides, and Amazon, God bless, because now they're jumping into the future with this show. PBS as well, who's always been an incredible source of education. And that's all we're doing. We're trying to educate the public on how they can be healthier, how the earth can be more sustainable. It all just makes good sense. And everybody is jumping into the future with us, and we might have started it back in, I would say, 80s is really when you started to hear the word vegan. But now we've gone so far that it's part of our natural vocabulary.
Absolutely. And by the way, Jane Unchained, Elizabeth Alfano, Jane Unchained contributor, just interviewed the former co-CEO of Whole Foods. And we just published an article about this. He said the vegan food trend is the biggest food trend he has ever seen in his lifetime, more than 50 years in the industry. And so things are happening, especially now during the pandemic, where people are very careful about their food and they also want to stay healthy. Ryan, I know you are training and you do all sorts of things to help people get into optimal shape. Do you see a transformation? And I believe you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been training people vegan for the last 10 plus years, and I've always felt, not from an ethical standpoint, but from strictly a standpoint of results. Obviously, I do it for ethical reasons, but from the prescription of a plant-based diet, from a non-ethical standpoint, simply from results-based, I always have felt that a plant-based diet is superior to a standard American diet.
Yeah, and my gosh, we just had Tom Brady win the Super Bowl again, right? And people don't talk about the fact that he's plant-based, but he is.
Yeah, you definitely, just to add on to that, you definitely see how a gentleman at 43 years old is playing at a very, very high level, maybe considered one of the best, to ever play the sport, and doing it all plant-based, or from what I know, majoritarily plant-based vegan.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Korin, you also train. You're in Florida. Are you seeing a shift? I know I was in Miami, quite a few years ago, and there weren't a lot of vegan options. Has that changed?
Yeah, there's tons of restaurants that's opened up. You see tons of vegan items everywhere. And people are talking about it too. So it's not something like a couple years back, like even 5-7 years back. When it was during that time, it was, when you talk about it, people weren't really interested. But when you bring it up now, people are very interested in the lifestyle, especially because of the pandemic, and people want to improve their health.
And I do want to say, and I probably say this over and over again, I should say it hundreds of times, this was a team effort. We had so many people volunteering. The soundstage was near Hollywood, in the Culver City area, and it was easy to miss the studio. So we had people with giant signs outside the studio in the hot weather here in LA, holding up a sign, park here. We had people doing parking. We had people running to get meals for the crew, vegan meals, because as everybody in Hollywood knows, you feed the crew is the most important thing to do during the breaks if you want to have anything going on. And so we had people volunteer makeup artists, vegan makeup artists using cruelty-free makeup. We had vegan hairdressers. We had just an amazing team of people who came together. Jane, you were there. Did you get a sense of the camaraderie that happened? Because it was actually a lot of fun. Everybody was behind the scenes taking video of everything going on. It was really a bevy of activity.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, everybody I met there, it's like you found your chosen family, because, all these people in the vegan movement, we may disagree on some things, but when it comes to the animals, we all agree. We're all in this together, and we've all made this choice to be vegan. And even Carissa, she was born vegan. She wouldn't have to stay vegan if she didn't want to, but she chooses to do that. So it was really great. We had some funny moments talking about getting food. Jane, I don't know if you remember, but, I flew in from Minneapolis the night before the actual taping, and went to your place and dropped off my food because I was staying at a hotel, didn't have any place to keep my food. And so you were going to bring it. And I don't know if you remember this, but you showed up without my food. Do you remember that?
Yes.
But we all worked together, figured it out, got the food there. And
she was like, where's my food? And I was like,
James, you're gonna bring my food. Yeah, Jane's freaking out. I'm like figuring out if there's a grocery store close by, but luckily we got it all figured out. And it worked well. And I have to say, Jane, one of my favorite moments is when you helped me make the ranch dressing that I use silken tofu to make, because I think the recipe called for like 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt. And there's this ramekin that had, I think, over 2 tablespoons of salt. And I said, oh, yeah, about 1/3 of a teaspoon of that. And she just takes the whole ramekin. Jane took the whole ramekin and dumped it in. I'm laughing like, or that amount works. We had, I think it was like 18 times the amount of salt that was supposed to go in there. It was still delicious.
There's no mistakes in a vegan kitchen, which there aren't because nobody dies.
No, but
right? Now, Chef Babette, you cook every single day at your restaurant. I mean, you run a restaurant, which I'm always blown away because honestly, just making toast and coffee with my cashew milk is enough to wipe me out. How the heck do you do it? And do you see in Inglewood a change? In fact, it's been said in numerous reports that African-American communities converting to veganism at a higher rate than the general population. Oh, unmute yourself, my dear. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so how do I unmute myself?
You're unmuted now.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I've heard that as well. And for myself, especially, I didn't start off being a chef. Ron and I decided we were going to open this restaurant. He was to take care of the money and build it out, and I was to do the food. And so that's the way it's been. But the community has really, really changed. And we're still about the only vegan restaurant in the area. But we have no problem selling people on vegan food anymore. There was a time that people would come in, look at the menu, don't see meat, turn around and walk out. And of course, I'm sprinting after them. So I can.
Do you tackle them? Do you tackle them and knock them to the ground and say,
no, I'm just like, come back in here, eat this taco for free. And they would get the taco and wind up dining with us, buying a meal and becoming customers. So we don't have to do that anymore. We're pretty well known thanks to people like you, New Day, New Chef, and all of the other, videos from Mercy for Animals, BuzzFeed. It's helped us out a lot. So, but it's getting to the point where, Mama getting tired. Getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning so I can work out before I go to work, and I try to be to work between 4 and 4:30. So, that's why I'm asleep by 6. You were lucky you caught me last night.
Oh my! And your muscles are like, look, no, wait, you got to show. Can you go full screen? We have to go full because we have to. Please, Maroon, go and do it.
Look, an old lady with a couple.
Look at that! Look at that!
Well, you
Look at that!
Stop!
Oh my God! And then people say, "Where do you get your protein?" Are you kidding me?
I know, isn't it incredible? And I do a lot of juicing though. I do a lot of juicing, a lot of chlorophyll, E3 Live. That's my lick. I love E3 Live. So I get it in, and you know what? I don't eat massive plates of food. That's too much bulk. At 70 years old, I'm always targeting nutrients. So my meals have to be nutrient rich because I don't want a whole bunch of bulk.
Now, you're just such an inspiration, and I'm serious. We videotaped her doing a 5-minute plank on the street outside her restaurant. And somebody who was much younger, sorry, that snarky vegan girl,
I love snarky.
Couldn't keep it together. Carissa, I want to get to you and ask you, because everybody here, the thing that I also wanted to show with New Day, New Chef is that we're from all walks of life. We're from everywhere, because there's this stereotype that they want to create about vegans that is this extreme sort of somebody hanging upside down from a tree. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that, with meditating, and it's just this sort of really exotic, fringy, like you have to live in Venice, California, or in the hippest area of Brooklyn to be vegan. And that's not true. And so, Carissa, you are in Palm Beach, and you are a former prosecutor. And by the way, Jane Elizabeth is a former human resources executive in the banking industry. So we've got people. Yes, Simone Reyes is a former reality star, but I was in the news media. I mean, we're everything, everywhere. We're all different people. Can you address that, Carissa?
So like you said, I was born and raised vegan. And like Jane Elizabeth said, I made the choice to be vegan. My parents divorced when I was about 5 years old, and I had a choice at that time. So I was introduced to veganism by my mom. But when I started to have to go back and forth, I was exposed to what the rest of the world was doing. And I made a very conscious choice then. And what I learned is that I had no choice with my choice, but to exist among other people who were not following my choices. And so for me, I lived in my own world with my choice to eat my plants and vegetables, but I was very normal in every other aspect of my life. I was going to ballet class and going to gymnastics and pursuing my education, and I did dance ballet professionally as well. So I believe that anyone can be vegan, and there is a stereotype. And as I met vegans in my life growing up, before you guys, before it was more mainstream, before New Day, New Chef, where there's a bunch of really cool vegans that you can know, I felt very much like, wow, there's a lot of vegans out there that can give veganism a bad rap. I am not like them. I'm not just out there. I'm normal in school, and I'm me. So I don't think that you can stereotype someone based on maybe their choice to have a vegan or plant-based diet on how they will relate to the rest of the world. It's just that we all have this one cause and commonality in common that brings us together, because it is a strong bond, because it has something to do with a moral compass and a moral decision. But really, you can be a vegan and be all walks of life. And it's not an extreme movement like it used to maybe be identified as. It is more of a trendy movement now that's not a trend and not going out of style, but is gaining rapid momentum. And now, yes, there are vegans that are journalists, lawyers, movie stars, singers, actresses, weightlifters, chefs, doesn't matter who you are, what you are, anyone can be a vegan. And I think that's the importance of the show, is it shows you that anyone can do this. You might be used to a certain cultural lifestyle or eating a certain dish on your plate, and New Day, New Chef shows you can still have that dish and still have that flavor, and it can still fit into your cultural paradigm, and you can walk any walk of life, and you can choose this compassionate diet and lifestyle, and you're not really trading on anything. It's just a new adventure in your kitchen.
And look at, we're so different. I know, Ryan, you speak very eloquently. And the first time I heard you on a panel, I was just blown away. We were on a panel together in Phoenix where you talked about how you're a former hunter and that you woke up and that was your journey. And I think that's a really important thing to bring up, because sometimes people think, well, that's something I couldn't be. I'm from a different culture. No. This is a universal waking up. We have cattle ranchers who have gone vegan. I'm on the board of the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. There are 2 cattle ranchers who said, no, we love animals. We're not going to kill them anymore. So can you address that, Ryan? And by the way, Varun, if you want to put some comments up, we got a lot of great comments from people. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that is something that I like to talk about in particular, because it does have to deal with tradition, and a lot of people want to play the tradition card. That's how I grew up, but I don't think because the way you grew up necessarily means you should continue to live that lifestyle, especially when you look at it from a perspective of ethics. And if you do really love animals and care about animals, then certainly keeping them off your plate is the number one best thing that you can do for those animals. And for the animals outside of those, humans are also animals. And I think oftentimes people forget that those big agriculture industries also are very harmful from humans from many different angles.
I want to say that what's really great about veganism is that we are, somebody had said, vegan family. And it's so true. Carissa, I didn't know you from Adam, and you came to do the show. And we became friends instantly. It was like I felt like I knew you my whole life. And I have that experience all the time with vegans. Wherever I meet them, whenever I meet them, it's like, oh, vegan family. And that's one of the things that I think came out of the show was that we're a happy bunch. We're not a glum lot. Look at this. I used to be a slaughterhouse inspector, and now I'm vegan from the 40-year-old vegan. How amazing. So to bring that to cooking, one of the things that Dotsie Bausch, the vegan Olympian, mentioned was that they're doing more and more studies that say your emotional well-being is affected by your serotonin levels, which are affected by your gut biome, which are affected by what you eat. So I think there's a connection to the fact that we're a happy bunch when we're not angry about injustice, because we do get angry. But when we're not angry and marching and protesting, we are a happy bunch of people. And I think that came through the show because, wow, we were having a good time. Simone, maybe I'll hit you with that.
We are. I mean, we're very passionate, right? But I can speak for myself that I always say there's no people like animal people. We are the ones that, are on the way to a red carpet event, and it's happened to me, and on the way there in heels and, makeup and people waiting, there's a pigeon, in the gutter, and you stop everything and you go and you save that pigeon. You do everything that you can. And then what you do, you mobilize, right? You go on social media, you call all of your vegan friends, and everybody's there to help. And nobody ever judges any decisions when the well-being of an animal is put into the mix. Yeah. And, as was said earlier, of course, we all have some disagreements about other things in our lives, but fundamentally we are pushed forward by one mantra, which is we want total animal liberation. And we will get that way through our food choices, through sharing food, through sharing recipes, through protesting, through couch potato vegan, whatever we need to do to get there. That is our main goal. And because we all share that goal, we have a family that will never be broken.
Yeah, and there is a tremendous sense of camaraderie, which I think came through in the show, because when you're having a good time, it shows. And, we were lucky to have Eamon McChrystal, who's a really good producer, and having been in television for 4 decades, and now it's over 4 decades. I know that when you have a really good producer, you can relax and just have fun. And then the show's better because you're not like all stressed out. And so we did have fun. First of all, I want to thank the Save movement for providing this platform. Anita Krines is my hero. She is the ultimate organizer for compassion. And I am so thrilled to be able to go live with our incredible contributors. Jane Unchained has more than 70 volunteer contributors around the world, and we go live at all sorts of events safely during the pandemic or not at all, depending. And my dog wants to be involved. He has something to say. So I bring him up. He just went blind, and he's just reacclimating. He's elderly, and he's expressing himself a lot. So there you go. So I want to thank the Save movement. I think that the work that Anita and her amazing team around the world do is extraordinary. It's very difficult. It's hard. You're looking and bearing witness and showing love and compassion to people, to animals who are going to their deaths. Nothing could be more difficult. This is a lovely counterpoint to that, where we show the joy of the movement. Can you elaborate a little on that, Jane Elizabeth?
Yeah, there is so much joy in, being able to do something. I know it's easy for people to feel like they can't do anything, like everything they do isn't quite enough. And what I like to tell people is that every choice you make makes a difference. So in every moment and every day, you have the ability to make a difference with what you choose to do, with how much compassion you use, how much kindness in each interaction with other people, with every choice you make and what you buy, because every dollar you spend is a vote for the type of world you want to create. So, and it can be overwhelming because you think, gosh, there's no way I can ever save all the animals. And that feeling is something as animal lovers and animal rights activists that we feel, I think, almost daily. But what we can do is be one less person causing animals harm. And so understanding that and understanding that we do make a difference with every single choice we make, that's empowering. And then we can empower other people to do the exact same thing and make those choices every day that will make a difference and do make a difference. And so there is so much joy in being empowered to make a difference every single day in every choice we make. Unmute yourself, sweetie.
I'm trying. Yeah, there we go. I want to give everybody a chance for some final thoughts on what their experience was like for New Day, New Chef. And I'd like to encourage everybody watch it with a pre-vegan. Watch it with a pre-vegan. Send the link, New Day, New Chef. You just Google New Day, New Chef, support and feed, New Day, New Chef, Amazon Prime. You watch it with somebody who is that needs the information as well. It's a fun show. It's super fun. Oh, this is an incredible team, a husband and wife team from Cafe Gratitude. And we've got Joanna Krupa, who's an amazing actress and just all around supermodel who was part of the support and feed season. But just final thoughts on how we can all, I say every moment, every meal we take is an opportunity to share the message. Share this video out. Share this video out. Oh, my doggy is barking to your doggy from the UK. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, he's learning his way around. He went blind and now he has to navigate. And when he runs into something, he barks. So I'm learning to communicate on a different level. And again, astounded by the intelligence. He's mastered the apartment in a way that I couldn't master if I was blind. But every time we have a meal, we can take a photograph of it and put it on untold number of social media platforms and say, this is a great vegan meal, a great alternative to, in this case, fish. We did vegan fish. And Anita Krein says, I love the way you all dance on the show when the blender's on. Yes, that's a funny story. And perhaps we'll wrap with that. What happened, Chef Babette, is that we were having a meeting and we said, well, what are we going to do? The blender, so many vegan dishes involve the blender. And then we said, well, maybe we'll get a silent blender. And then we said, but the silent blender isn't really silent. It's just quieter. And then I said, well, sometimes when the blender's on, because I'm a total goofball, I'll do like a dance. I'll dance my way when I'm making my nice cream. And so we said, let's just dance. And that just took off. Everybody, the one thing people take away from it is the blender dance. And I encourage all of you at home, when you use your blender, to please dance. Take a video of it and put it on social media. Chef Babette?
I agree. That show was so fun. And I'm going to tell you the reason that the vegan movement is catching on is because it's a movement of oneness. We are lovers of life. It's not just animals. It's the whole. It's everything. We love life. And so we are strength by numbers. And I just know that we're growing and getting better. And yeah, the blender dance is the licks, especially since I can't dance.
Oh, you can.
No, I just do the
Korin, what are your thoughts about how we could take this moment that we're all together and whatever we could say to empower people who are already vegan to become more active? Go to the vigils, start a vigil in your city. If there isn't a vigil, if there is a vigil, attend it safely. We have on our website, Jane Unchained, safety first, don't take any risks. But for every individual, I think the way we're going to hit the tipping point and convert to a vegan society, which means that the equation will flip. You go into a restaurant, it'll be mostly plant-based. Maybe the meat is a little outlier until it disappears entirely or replaced by lab meat. The way we're going to do that is for people who aren't vegan to become mostly plant-based and then become vegan, or do it all at once, and people who are vegan to become more active, particularly on social media, but also in organizations like the Save Movement. So Korin, tell us what your thoughts are on that as we leave.
Overall, I thought this show was great, and if you're a new vegan or someone that wants to transition more into a vegan lifestyle, it's definitely a great show to watch because you're getting information from different aspects. You're getting it from chefs, actors, athletes, and so on and so forth. And then once you become vegan and you slowly transition into it, I highly recommend to do some type of outreach. Like for me, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big activist and like going in the streets and with signs because I was in the military for 8 years, and having that, like I could do it, but if someone comes up in my face, like I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. Because
what do you do instead?
So
shifting the conversation quickly.
So that's why I do bodybuilding, because it's an individual sport, and I can use my social media platform to show people like, yo, you can be like fit, you can build muscle, to really demolish that masculinity image that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, the biggest He-Man in the world is, the winner of the Super Bowl, Tom Brady. He's plant-based. The strongest man in Germany is plant-based. The film Game Changer shows that all of these athletes, a good percentage of the Tennessee Titans are plant-based. Ryan Nelson and Korin Sutton are plant-based. I mean, we got to let that go. That is not to mention that heart disease, erectile dysfunction is a precursor of heart disease.
Yep.
That's too much cholesterol in large measure. So, I mean, right there, I don't get it. We've got to shatter that myth. Is it getting shattered? Korin?
Yeah. Slowly it's getting shattered, not fast enough, because I feel that more animals are definitely dying at a faster rate, and people are dying at a faster rate versus transitioning more into a plant-based diet. And it's sad because the solution is just swapping out the food. And everyone's so against the fence about that. It's just like, if you've eaten meat your whole entire life, like how hard is it to just try something different? Like there's tons of these diets out there that has all consist of meat, but there's only one that has none of it. Why not just try it out? Try something that's completely different.
Yes. And obviously we're joking around. We are a movement of complete and utter nonviolence. No animal or human has ever been hurt as a result of normal activism effort. And that's true. So I would like to give Carissa Kranz, the vegan from birth, former prosecutor, attorney, and founder of Be Veg. Tell us about Be Veg for a second, and tell us what you hope people take away, aside from watching New Day, New Chef, but what they can take away to make them more effective in this movement.
Okay, sounds good. So Be Veg is the first accredited vegan trademark and standard in the world, which means we have a technical standard that we've built and put into place that is represented with a global trademark, a certification mark, which works like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval for all things vegan across all industry sectors. So Be Veg is that Good Housekeeping seal of approval that keeps the supply chains accountable. So when we're talking about that, we care about every dollar we spend and what that means in our purchases. Be Veg really is helping you make sure that the entire supply chain and all the processes and protocol and factory checks are in place to help save more animals, because the reality is the final product you might think is vegan, but the supply chain to that final product was not vegan. So if you keep the supply chain accountable, you're saving more animals. My takeaway point with the show, I would say, is that it's really a fun way to become vegan and to explore the movement, and that there's never a good time except for now to try something new. You really can't hold yourself accountable for what you may have done in the past or the way you used to live or the choices you used to make. And you can't really worry about the commitment to the future because it might be too overwhelming and you might feel like you can't do it. So I think what's important is making the choice right now in the now. So if it's buying that vegan dish or buying that vegan product or eating that vegan meal at a restaurant, then you made the right choice right now. And that's less of a commitment that will be less scary. And if you take it one day at a time, eventually you might find that there is no other way for you. I can't tell you how many people reach out to me on Facebook after I do Jane, like the show on Jane Unchained Weekly or on New Day New Chef, and they want to be vegan and they're trying. So the consciousness has changed. It has shifted. It's not like when I grew up where people didn't want to be vegan and plant-based and judged it. People want to, and then they get mad at themselves when they fall off the bandwagon and they eat something and they have guilt that goes along with it. So I think the takeaway is watch the show, have fun in the kitchen, try these different dishes. Don't be so hard on yourself because you don't have to worry about a commitment beyond this present moment in trying something new. And who knows, you might be like Ryan, who used to be a hunter, or Korin, who's now completely plant-based and has muscles to, kill, or Chef Babette, who's 70, and I was on her show, and I think I was more entertained by her personality and her muscles almost more than the vegan pizza. So I think and that pizza was good. But I think what's really the takeaway is that, you really can have it all and be vegan, and you don't need to be afraid of it. You shouldn't be afraid of it.
All right. I think you're absolutely right. Final thoughts, Simone.
I just want to say that I'm so happy that New Day New Chef is actually on Amazon. I think that Amazon's going to be around till the end of time after all of us are long gone. And I feel like it's just such an incredible feeling to know that even when we're not here anymore, you know what I mean? Or when we're super old, where we can look back and have something that's still available for the world to see that said we were on the right side of history. And isn't that amazing?
Yeah, thank you. Jane Elizabeth, final thoughts.
Well, this is such a fun show. And like everybody said, I mean, this is something anybody can do. I like what Carissa said about, just choose to do something right now. And this is something that everybody can do. What Korin said about different forms of activism. So for people who are curious about being vegan, this show is great because you watch the show, be inspired, take your dishes that you know and love and substitute death for life. So instead of eating animals, add plants instead. It's an easy swap. It tastes better. It feels better after you eat it. And, for vegans out there who want to be more active, every type of activism matters. So this is something, whether it is, taking pictures of animals who are in need, whether it is taking pictures of food, whether it's sharing your transformation story, posting videos of you being able to do these amazing workouts, completely powered by plants. Whatever you do matters. It makes a difference. We are breaking stereotypes with every kind of activism. And now is the perfect time to show the world how much power there is in going vegan and being completely powered by plants. So this is something that every vegan can do, and never, please never ever feel like it's not enough, because what you're doing is enough. Can we always step up our game? Yes, absolutely. What you do today does matter. So whatever it is you want to post out there on social media, you're reaching more people than you think. You might get a certain number of likes or views, but more people see it than actually respond to it in that way, because you are reaching people who maybe don't want to give you a like or give you a follow, but they're seeing it anyway. So you are planting seeds with everything you do. You never know when those seeds are going to grow into something beautiful. So keep planting, because you don't plant today expecting today to reap what you sow, right? You plant today, you nurture, and you watch it grow within, a certain amount of time. So this is something that you do today, not expecting results today. You're planting today, you're gonna reap the benefits, down the road, and so will everybody else. So everything you're doing definitely makes a difference.
And I would thank you. I was just about to ask Ryan Nelson to give us his final thoughts, but I think he's dropped and he's doing a push-up right now. All right, I think I got everybody. I want to say personally that the goal of the show is to show that vegan cooking, vegan eating is not a sacrifice. It's adventure. It's fun. We are having a lot of fun. And when you cross over, you haven't made a sacrifice at all. It's a win-win. It's a win for the planet. It's a win for the animals. It's a win for your health. But also, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. Vegan food is a party. And so check out New Day, New Chef. Share this video out. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. All of you are my heroes. And we'll see you next time because we're not done. We're just getting started. Bye. And thank you to Varun. Great